Hello and welcome to the dinner table on this fine Monday morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing well.
Chloe had a nice weekend in Pittsburgh with my mom. Look at her new shirt.
I know, Steel City.
That's sick.
Where did you get that? Obviously in Pittsburgh, but
We stayed with Stacy, and she got us it for like a housewarming gift.
Nice.
It was so cute. Yeah.
How was Pittsburgh?
It was bittersweet, honestly. We went there to visit my pop, who's our dad's dad, and he's in a memory care facility, but he's also going to be 94 in February. So he's lived a very, very great life. It's obviously tough because he's in Pittsburgh, so it's a little difficult to get out there.
Yeah.
But when we do, it's nice to see him. He's definitely getting older and on that time right now that's a little sad, but going out to Pittsburgh is awesome because we got a ton of family and friends out there. We don't get to see them all too much, and so it was great to see them too.
Yeah. You should pop up a picture of our family.
Yeah, and he'll be like, good people, or like, he'll take a look at it and be like, I remember, but he doesn't really, but he says it to make us feel better.
Yeah. It's hard, but
nice to go out there though.
Yeah. The one thing he will never forget is thank you. My mom and I were talking about that. Our mom and I were talking about that. But like if we hand him anything, he's always like, thank you.
And Frank Sinatra.
And Frank Sinatra. I showed him Frank Sinatra. He's like, Frank Sinatra. I'm like, we have been in your life for how long? And
Not as long as Frank Sinatra's been in his life.
Exactly. But you don't know Frank Sinatra, so.
That is hilarious. How was your weekend, Cam?
Good. It was fun. Busy with work, and we started a league at our gym this weekend, so that's always fun. Got a bunch of teams and stuff, and they'll be going on for 6 weeks now. And
What league?
Girls Youth League. So this is our third year, maybe our fourth year running it, and it's the most teams we ever have. We have 2 locations now, so
Nice.
that we use, and running all over the place, and watching a lot of girls basketball this weekend. So it was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
As for me, I worked on Saturday, and I worked for in studio for the Badger Hawkeyes game.
Yeah.
We can
Beat
chat about
down.
that for a second.
Beat
Yeah,
down.
we did a big Badger podcast last week with Matt LePay going into this Badger Iowa game, and yeah, that was tough. Even listening to Luke Fickell after the game, he was like, I've never felt this because he's like, we got beat by Alabama earlier in the year, but it felt like they had a really good, he's like, you can kind of say like they had a really good wide receiver, and we hurt ourselves in a couple of plays, and it's early on in the season, but you're going against one of your biggest rivals. You've never lost like this to Iowa since 1968. That was the biggest margin
A victory.
since 1968 in the series between the two teams. So
And what was the final score? Do you remember?
yeah, 42-10.
42-10.
Yeah. And it was a 42-10 game. Some of those games you're like, but it was closer than the score reflected. Yeah. No, it wasn't.
It was all of the 42-10.
Yeah.
I was kind of watching out of the corner of my eye. We had Randy and KK's engagement party this weekend.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah.
And
Congrats.
they had the game on in the corner, so I was kind of looking at it, but I just saw that ticker keep going up and up and up for
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah. It was rough. The Badgers gave up 329 rushing yards,
Jeez.
which is
They usually do that to other people.
Yeah, exactly. So the story of the game was they couldn't stop the run and they couldn't run the ball. That was basically it. Braden Locke threw a couple of interceptions, so that continued. But it really was like they were saying all week going into it, you win it at the line of scrimmage. You have to play tough against Iowa, and yeah, that was all Hawkeyes. So
Yeah.
they're on a bye week, and then we play Oregon. So it's a tough schedule for the Badgers, and even Coach Fickell was like, this bye week's kind of coming at he doesn't like that the bye week's right now because it kind of sucks. You're feeling this way, and you can't get out there and play to shake off the loss.
But
So,
would you rather get a
You'd
second
rather
to
have
shake
a
it
bye
off
week before Oregon.
before Oregon?
yeah. So that's Badger football talk. It definitely hit a low point in the season. It sucked. They were on a good trajectory. They really were. They won those 3 games, and then they played well against Penn State.
Yeah.
They kind
But
of.
the thing is, like, for the Badgers, I mean, we're not talking about, like, Rutgers here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're kind of now setting expectations for Badger football as if they're Rutgers. Like, they normally
Right.
beat Penn State at home. And, so they normally don't, it's not a happy year when you have 3 losses already this
Right.
Right.
even whoever you play.
right?
Yeah.
And now they got the number 1 team in the country that they're going to be going on the road against, right?
No,
Oh, it's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I knew that. McKenna's
Yeah.
coming in town for
Yeah,
that.
McKenna's coming in town.
Yeah.
Have to get her on the pod, maybe.
Well, maybe they can shock the
Yeah,
world.
maybe we just go out and beat Oregon, and then we're all back. Fans are going crazy right now on Twitter.
Yeah.
Fire everyone, new quarterback. It's how the Packer fans are, too. And I understand Badger fans are frustrated this season, but let's actually get into the Packers because I do think – you tell me what you think. I think fans need to relax for a
On the
second.
Packers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't
that's
think so?
what – no, I mean – you're always going to have that with some – that's why they're
Fans are
fans.
nuts.
Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. I mean, there's never really – you rarely have a fan that has, a steady look at the outcome of the game or is looking at it like how a coach would look at it.
Yeah.
But, they're fans for a reason. Yeah, the Packer game this weekend was a bummer. I not to say I wasn't expecting it, I guess. I mean, the Lions are really good. The unfortunate things are, you just cannot make that interception at the end of the half for Jordan Love. That was the game right there.
It was the worst play. I can't even understand it at all. Like, just throw it away.
Yeah, it's confusing actually because he's so good.
Yeah, he's so
and I know the weather was horrible, but it's horrible for both teams. And Jared Goff didn't, he didn't put the ball in bad situations like that. And if you go into the half and you're down 7, you got a football game. And the Packers actually played pretty well in the second half. The defense played well for the majority of the game. Obviously the run was tough to stop especially early in the first half for the Packers. But in the second half, it ended up being 24-14, and they only scored 1 touchdown in the second half for the Lions. So we were right in that game. But that pick 6 at the end of the half, I mean, the worst thing that happens is you go into the half and you don't get any points.
Yeah.
But you cannot give them points on the board.
I know, and like you're saying, it's confusing with Jordan Love because there was one possession where, Detroit Lions came and blitzed him, and then he, threw it at the ground or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, okay, good. Like, he finally made a good decision when that happens. And then going further down in the game, and then all of a sudden now he's getting blitzed again, and now he wants to make this crazy play. Yeah. And it's like the balance of it has got to be –
I think a little bit of it has to do, and you don't want to give excuses for him. Obviously, he's not as mobile as he really would be. Obviously, it was raining and wet and windy, and he didn't have a good grip of the ball. I mean, I think if he had a better grip of the ball, he just would have rocketed it out of bounds because he was already outside of the pocket. But he's just trying to do a little too much.
He's trying to do
a little too much, especially in like Packer quarterbacks need to know this. In inclement weather, ball security is the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah, the Lions didn't have a problem with it. Jordan Love was 3 of 10 for 24 yards with an interception against the Blitz on Sunday against the Lions. He has 5 interceptions against the Blitz this season, most in the NFL per ESPN Stats and Info. That's Rob Nomofsky with the information. So, like Chloe said, he's not doing great against the Blitz this year.
No, and that was one thing that Rodgers did great. He was always phenomenal against the blitz. But there's another, and this is a little bit, the Packers have had a bunch of self-inflicted penalties, and in the first half there, it killed us. We were driving down the field, false start by Josh Jacobs, Keyshawn Nixon to start off the game with that penalty. Like, all that stuff matters, especially when you're playing such a good team like the Lions. I have a little stat for you as well. Packers have the 4th most drops in the NFL with 20, 2nd most pre-snap penalties with 30, and 2nd worst field goal percentage in the NFL this season. So, obviously very talented team. People talk about how young we are all the time. That has a lot to do with it. When you have a young team, you're going to be making mistakes, and we dropped the ball. I mean, I know it was wet and rainy. The Lions weren't dropping the ball as much as we were yesterday.
And even going off of that, not even just drops, but Christian Watson, misjudging the timing a couple of times.
I know, especially for the one that he was open, and then he kind of came back.
Yeah, and there was another one in the end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giggs and I were watching last night, or during the day yesterday, and we're kind of confused on Watson's play. But
those ones are, I was giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because when that ball, Jordan Love, the one that he threw on the fly route when Christian Watson was open, that's a 40, 50-yard pass in the air, and it was I think Steve Becker was at the game last night telling us how windy it was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was like 30-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah.
It's tough to figure out where that thing's going. I mean, and normally I think Christian Watson's a pretty good deep ball guy, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But, when you put yourself in a circumstance where you're down already to start the game, and then you have to make big plays like that, it obviously adds up.
Right.
Yeah.
especially with how disciplined the Lions are too. Just want to add that in there.
Oh, they just pound the ball too. They're so physical. I mean, I love Dan Campbell. I mean, to start the game off too, obviously we're up 3-0. We go all the way down to their red zone. We get stopped. We kick a field goal. They come all the way down to our red zone, 4th and goal.
They go for
probably 31 other coaches in the NFL kick the field goal to tie the game. They go for it. Trust his team, and great route by Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Goff is good. I mean, Goff, it should be up there for, MVP this year if Lamar Jackson and these other guys weren't putting up crazy stats. But Goff is just so consistent.
Yeah. The Packers, I mean, they had 411 yards compared to the Lions, 261. Like, you don't see that, and then you lose 24-14.
Exactly.
They're 1 of 4 in the red zone, so that's also a big story of the game. I mean, Jordan Love was, like, dropping the snaps. Or they also had a different center.
Yeah.
So there was just, like, a lot of things with the Packers that played into that.
Yeah. And now they got the Bears next week.
Yep.
At the Bears.
Yeah.
So we need an NFC win. We're 0-2 in the NFC right now. Lost to the Vikings and lost to the Lions.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the Bucs a little bit for our second course. They're on a 5-game losing skid. So I want to talk to you guys about just how concerned you are about this Bucs team, how you feel about them. They probably should have won against the Cavaliers. That's what Giannis said. At least he felt like they played well. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell hit that last-second shot to win it. They play the Cavs again tonight, which I like, because I think they can see the improvement. Obviously, they're without Chris Middleton, but a couple of things just to set the stage for where the Bucs are. Giannis and Dame scored 75 points combined against the Cavs.
Yep.
They're getting nothing off the bench. They had 13 points off the bench. Bobby's numbers are not good. Through 6 games, he's shooting 25% from 3, 47% from the field, 11 points per game. So
this is why I'm concerned, and exactly, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, like you mentioned, Giannis, 34 points, 16 rebounds, 9 assists, 0 turnovers. Mm-hmm. Dame Lillard, 41 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover. So essentially, perfect games from those two. As good as it gets.
Can't ask for anything
What
more.
you expect from them?
Exactly.
Both shot the ball well, 15 for 27 from Giannis, 13 for 24 from Dame, and you still lose. Mm-hmm. And it's been kind of like that. I know Dame didn't play well the game before that, but like Giannis has been phenomenal all year, and we're on a 5-game skid. So it's like, how much better can those guys play? They can't play that much better. Mm-hmm. And now you're asking a lot from these other guys, and these other guys now, it's just they've shown to be a little over the hill. I mean, Pat Connaughton, love the guy. Great for the city of Milwaukee. Yeah. You're not going to get a ton out of him anymore. Bobby Portis was in the plus-minus against the Cavs. He was minus 16 for the game. So, and I think I saw something on Twitter where I think his plus-minus is the worst in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. So it's just a little, it's definitely unexpected. I thought for sure we would not be 1-5 to start the year.
I mean, definitely. And I think what's most frustrating for Bucs fans and for the Bucs, honestly, is that this has been the topic of conversation now for the last 2 years, especially since Dame came in, because we're all excited about Damian Lillard coming in, and he's performing and just how he needs to be, and he had his ups and downs in the playoffs. And then Giannis is doing his thing, but we don't have any glue guy. We don't have any guy off the bench.
Yeah.
We have no points per. And we talked about this when they draft. I can't even understand it. They draft the same people every single year who cannot perform.
And Marjan Beauchamp, I saw some today, and we're already looking to trade him.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? John Horst, honestly, should be thanking his lucky stars that he had John Hammond as a GM before him who drafted Giannis. Otherwise, I don't mind the Dame Lillard. It hasn't worked out. Right. He's got a bad track record right now.
It's the same people over and over again, and we cannot find somebody that's going to come off the bench and score for us.
Here's the other thing that's frustrating. Every single starter in the starting 5 had a plus point differential in the plus-minus. Every single bench player on our team had a minus plus-minus in that Cavalier game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're going to get Chris Middleton back, which is going to help. But it's like we go into the playoffs, and one of these guys is injured every single time. So it's like you have to be able to win with Giannis and Dame. Yeah. You have there's no excuse.
And
for
is
that.
Chris Middleton the answer? Like I know he's going to help us score more points, and I love Chris Middleton. Mm-hmm. I'm actually a huge Chris Middleton. I know there's people that don't like him. I think they're crazy. Mm-hmm. But he's not the answer to this problem. Our problem is we're not playing any defense either.
Yeah.
I think what we have to do.
Transition defense is really bad.
Transition defense is horrible. Everybody says this except for some reason Doc doesn't do it. Like Giannis needs to be playing the 5. Brooke Lopez at the 5. on the defensive end, at least for long stretches, right? Like, drop coverage is not the answer in the NBA.
Yeah.
These guards are too good now. I know he's a great rim protector, but teams are beating teams now on the perimeter. They're shooting threes. If you are a dropping big man trying to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or name your top point guards, any guards in the league, Kyrie Irving's, Luka Doncic, they're going to murder that every single night.
You need a 4-5 who can switch.
You need a 4-5 who can switch, and Giannis should be the greatest 5-man switcher in the NBA. He can guard the bigs, he can guard the guards, and you don't want to maybe ask too much of him this early on in the season, but it's go time now.
What happens with Brook then?
Brook he's got to get traded. It's not been working.
Yeah.
He's a great rim protector. He shoots a horrible 3-point percentage, and that's all he does now. He just shoots threes, and he protects the rim, and we get killed on the defensive end. And offensively, he's really not giving us much. Mm-hmm. I love him. It was great during our championship run. But if you watch the championship run, Giannis played a lot at the 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chloe.
Anything else? Because Carly really you locked in on the Bucks today.
No,
so I want to make sure.
Good. I think we covered it all.
It's confusing. I just don't really understand it, how they're 1-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
6 games into an 80-game season, though, so hopefully turn it around.
Yeah, but all of a sudden you're at this point come All-Star break. They're already talking. I hate that everybody's talking about we need to trade Giannis.
No. God.
That's what I can't. That's what these fans are bothering me right now.
It's just so stupid.
Wisconsin sports fans.
Just so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the greatest thing to ever happen to the franchise.
No, sorry. I should backtrack on that. Wisconsin sports fans are not saying that about Giannis.
Stephen A. Smith is in the
national
outside media. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah. But
I think we all understand what we have. I think we would trade every single rest of the people on the team except for Giannis.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you covered. Okay. All right, let's turn it into college basketball season. I am so excited.
Give me something I could get pumped up about. This Packers talk sucks. Bucks talk sucks.
I know.
Badgers talk sucks.
Don't worry. It is opening night for college basketball season. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, okay, it's Christmas. We got 15 NBA games today. We got a ton of college basketball games. We got men's, women's, whatever you name it. This is the go time right now for sports fans. Is right now mid-November. Or early November. So let's talk about Marquette men's, who plays tonight. They're number 18 in the country, and they play Stony Brook for their home opener. Exactly. Yeah. So let's hope tonight is not.
I got a bucket against Stony Brook in my career. Don't underestimate Stony Brook.
Sorry, really good defense.
Yeah, great defense there. So we're going to have to see what happens tonight. But I think what you're looking for is the top players at Marquette and what they're going to be able to do this season. And if I want to name a couple, obviously Cam Jones is picked preseason Big East Player of the Year, which I definitely think he could.
I think it was, I was actually surprised by this, but it was Kalkbrenner from Creighton who got the preseason Big East Player of the Year nod.
What was that thing about Cam?
Cam's first team All Big East.
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Not to correct you there.
No, thanks for correcting me. Yeah. We're on a podcast.
I think I said that too. And then before it came out, I was expecting him to be, and then Kalkbrenner, big dude from Creighton.
Understood. So Cam Jones is expected to have a really great season this year. Stevie Mitchell is obviously this glue guy that's going to now kind of turn into more of a scorer, I could expect, after losing, Tyler in a similar position in that way. And then Ben Gold, I think he's going to be a big difference maker this year. Big guy that can shoot the ball, maybe pass it as well as, if not, hopefully the same as Oso did last year, considering, Coach Barry at the post is definitely, teaching him how to do that. But it takes a lot of skill. Oso, that's his thing. But if Ben Gold can do the same as Oso did last year, that'd be really nice.
There's a lot riding on his shoulders.
There's a ton.
Absolutely is. Obviously, like Chloe mentioned, Oso last year at the 5 was so solid, and Ben was coming off the bench. Now Ben's got to take a big leap, and that's what Chaka and his staff pride themselves on is
player development
in the offseason. And Ben is skilled, and I think everybody can see it. And I think the fans are hoping for a step up in his 3-point shooting percentage this year, and hopefully Ben does that and plays hard-nosed New Zealand tough guy basketball for Marquette. Sure. That'd be great.
For sure. So and then David Joplin. So those are your 4 guys that are pretty much expected to have good seasons and expected to start off the season well. Mm-hmm. But then I think the person that we should be watching the most as somebody who's going to really step up from last year, and Coach has mentioned this too, is Zayd Lowery. Mm-hmm. We're gonna expect him to have a way bigger role than he did last year as a freshman. Yeah, so Zayd Lowery was a freshman last year. I think he averaged maybe 2 points off the bench, like nothing crazy.
He didn't play much last year.
Okay.
From
he's
Missouri.
A freshman, yeah. So he's going to be a sophomore this year, and Coach Shaka talks a lot about him, about having a way bigger role, and that the fans are going to be surprised about what he's going to do this year. He's just an athletic guard who can guard every position, and then also score offensively. Mm-hmm. Him and Chase Ross are going to be great guards for the team this year, and he's really going to have a step up.
Guys on the wing who are just strong too, like you name Chase Ross, obviously Stevie, you know what he can do defensively, and Zayd. Those are 3 guys who should really give issues to opposing teams' ball handlers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, forget what they're going to do offensively. Hopefully they all make big strides this year too, but like they are going to be menaces on the defensive end, and it's going to be, I think this is going to be a season maybe more unlike any other Marquette, where they really lock down defensively and win games grimy and tough, and they're still going to have some offensive prowess, but they're going to pride themselves on the defensive end.
Yeah, and so we lose nearly 30 points with Tyler and Oso per game, so we're going to have to see a lot of these guards step up, but in my opinion, it's not really about the points, because I feel like we're going to cover that easily. It's more so about how much of a leader those 2 guys were. Mm-hmm. They were so great at it. They ran every huddle. They settled the team in. They ran the offense and controlled the turnovers and things like that. But I think what we talk about with Marquette is they're one of the 4 teams in Power 5 that haven't had any transfers. And so I think that is how you hold the team down and you grow leaders. Well-connected group, and you grow leaders, and you hear from the same coach over and over and over again. So I also don't think that should be too much of an issue, but I'm curious and interested to see who's going to step up in those roles this year.
So is Cam going to run the offense?
He's going to be running the point.
Yeah.
Cam's going to be running the point. I think one thing that people are going to be seeing this year too, obviously everyone knows what type of scorer Cam is. Cam can really pass the ball too.
Yeah.
He's unselfish. Also a great defender too, I think. I think this is going to be a huge year for Cam. Maybe come April, we're talking about where he's going to get drafted in the NBA.
Yeah.
But also, let's not forget about the freshmen coming in too.
Exactly.
So you have Royce Parham. From what I'm hearing, is Royce is going to play a little bit of a role this year. He can really shoot the ball. Excited to see that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think we know as fans and being around the program, shooting is something that Marquette was kind of lacking a little bit last year, and hopefully he can add to that. And then you have Demarius Owens coming in, big, tall, strong guard as well, very versatile. And who else am I missing? Joshua Clark as well.
Yeah,
and
tall. He's like 7'5". He's the longest guy I've ever seen every single time I walk in.
Yeah, and I don't think Josh is going to play much this year, but those are the 3 freshmen coming in. So
yeah. And then there's some other guys that have talked about a lot, but we don't give too much information until the season comes, like Caden Hamilton. And,
absolutely.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the game tonight. It's obviously should be an easy win. I want to knock on wood, but I'm just more excited to kind of evaluate the team a little bit more and see what happens with that. The women's team played this week as well against UCF, but they do not start tonight, so we will cover that as that goes. They play at UCF, which should be a good game.
Chloe will be calling.
All home games.
Most of the home games, all of them.
Yeah, so that'll be really exciting, and I'll be able to give you guys more feedback after some of those games, so that'll be good.
Perfect.
And then do I want to say like the top 25 matchups I can look forward to tonight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so best top 25 matchups for the NCAA. So now we're getting out of Wisconsin a little bit more. The men, Baylor, number 8, is playing at Gonzaga, who's number 6. So that's a big top 10 matchup for the first game of the season, which is always hard. And then you're going over to women, and women have this really interesting kind of tournament in Paris, France, which is super exciting. And they open tonight. Louisville 17 plays UCLA 5. UCLA is going to be one of the top teams. Obviously, they're ranked 5 preseason, but they're going to stick up there most of the year. on ESPN2. And then USC and Juju Watkins is going to be really exciting to watch this year. They're number 3, and they play Ole Miss, number 20, also in Paris, France. So really
How
cool
wild
opener.
is that it's in Paris?
I know.
Crazy.
Normally, understanding if it's during the summertime, they're right during the school year right now to start the season off in Paris.
Isn't that insane? I know. So it's going to be really
so
exciting.
cool,
Both
though.
teams.
That is cool. That'd be fun.
Both games are able to watch on ESPN tonight. So I'm looking forward to those and just the college basketball season coming. It's going to be cool.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
excited. All right, so we're going to save Cam's locks for Wednesday of this week. Check us out on social media.
1-1 this week.
Yeah, 1-1.
Ohio State pick, good. Pittsburgh pick, bad. 5-4 overall.
Okay.
Couple locks coming for you this week. NCAA basketball's back. This is my go zone now.
Yeah.
So.
Go Zone.
This is where he's really
Here we go.
locked in. And then we'll finish it off with the AP Top 25 poll. It's like, this is where it's actually getting really important because, you know, the season's coming to an end.
Yeah.
This 12-team college football playoff. So people are actually really looking more, now they're actually also releasing the top 12 teams. I think like the College Football Playoff Committee is going to be doing that. But it's more important to pick the top 12. So we're just going to focus on the top 12. Look at the poll that I did this week compared to the AP poll that came out, and we'll put this on your screens as well. But so the top, so
Oh, Clay, you know what's funny actually? That USC Ole Miss game's going on right now.
whoa, because it's in Paris.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry
turn
to
it on.
interrupt you.
Yeah. So here are the top 12 from the AP poll: Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, Penn State, Tennessee, Indiana, BYU, Notre Dame, Alabama, Boise State.
Boise State.
So you take a look at what I did. I'm just going to say I put Ohio State number 2 ahead of Georgia. I know Georgia won. So it was a tough decision, honestly. I wonder how many other voters did that. To me, I just thought Ohio State's win at Penn State was more impressive than what I saw out of Georgia. Sometimes it's the eye test a little bit. And, you know, Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions. I know Howard had a pick 6 against Penn State, but their defense was incredible. And
I mean, and you're like splitting hairs here. Obviously, you're deciding between who's 2 and 3. Georgia, I thought looked like shit this past weekend
Exactly,
against
that's
Florida.
what I'm saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I see what you did there and putting Ohio State. I think
going
that's
into
well
Penn
deserved.
State,
And Georgia has not looked good all year, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a good win against Texas. That was good, but they've been up and down. So
yeah. So I kept Texas at 4. It looks like the AP poll dropped them to 5 and put Miami in front of them. Miami, they put up 53 points, but they also,
Oh my God.
Gave up 31. Their defense is not good. So
I think we would all agree if Texas played Miami, Texas would be favored probably by 14 points.
yeah. So you're liking my poll, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
so
I do.
far?
That's how I was liking it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tennessee then beat Kentucky 28-18. I have them at 6. So I dropped Penn State down to 7 after the loss. Notre Dame and BYU did not play this week, so kind of keep them where they're at almost. And then Indiana I put in at number 10. It looks like the AP poll has Indiana at 8. I'm a Hoosier too, so maybe I should have put them up a little higher. But good win against Michigan State. They're still undefeated. I think they're 9-0 on the season. 47-10 win against Michigan State. I think it was at Michigan State. So impressive win by the Hoosiers to stay undefeated, but it's Michigan State. I don't know.
Well, now they have the tough part of their schedule coming up, right?
Yeah.
They play Ohio State.
At Ohio State
this
upcoming weekend. Is that, I think?
I believe. I don't know if I can't remember if it's a bye and then Ohio State.
Let me see. I'll tell you right now.
Can you tell me a little bit about Boise State?
Sorry. Indiana plays Michigan at home this weekend, and then I think they play Ohio State the following weekend. Yep. So Michigan at home this weekend, and they're 14-point favorites. And then they play at Ohio State on 11-23. So 2 tough games coming back to back.
Right.
Yeah.
If they can win, if they can beat Michigan and then lose to Ohio State, they'll still have a chance to be in the playoff.
Yeah. I don't know. Cameron, can you tell me a little bit more about like Boise State? I don't really watch a lot of college football. I love these top teams, but if you're looking at Boise State as 12 in college football, is that surprising?
It is surprising. So they have 1 loss on the year. The 1 loss was to Oregon, at Oregon, and they only lost by 3 points.
Okay.
They have the best running back in the country right now, who is running all over the place. His stats are crazy. So he'll be in the Heisman contention.
Yeah.
And early on, he was surpassing a lot of not Bo Jackson, but gosh, I'm forgetting his name. But he was Barry Sanders. He was breaking a bunch of Barry Sanders, or on pace to break Barry Sanders records. And for college football fans, everybody knows like Barry Sanders, the way he ran the ball at Oklahoma State, like his records were untouched.
Right.
I don't know if he's still on pace to do it, but the way he started the season, and you might have seen him on Twitter. He stands in the backfield almost like what's the Halloween movie, Meyer. Yeah, he stands just straight up in the backfield. Instead of like being in a stance, he just stands back there straight up, and they hand him the ball, and he runs it all over the place.
That's crazy.
He's a beast. Yeah.
Wow, okay, well, good to know, because for me, I'm like, oh, wow, Boise State, okay.
Yeah.
But good for them.
I actually forgot they played Oregon pretty close. That's part of the reason why they're in the top 12, and then everybody else they've beaten, and it's been fairly easy for them, but they haven't played much competition.
They still don't have that tough of a schedule to finish it out. So, I mean, if they win out, they should have a good chance.
Exactly. Except I don't know which division are they, or which conference are they in now? Are they going to have
Mountain West?
Mountain West? I don't even know.
That's what's going to be hard, I think, once you get all the conference champs and deciding like what you give more to.
Yeah.
You know, so
if there's a team that's outside of the top 12 right now, that you would like to see in the college football playoffs by the end of the season, is there anybody that...
well, Ole Miss has been playing pretty well. I think that they could get in. And then, I mean, obviously, who doesn't want to see Colorado in
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
And Colorado is going to be favored probably in their last, I think they have 4 more games left. 1, 2, 3, 4. In their last 4 games, they'll most likely be favored in all 4. So if they can finish out the season 4-0 and then be 10-2 to end the year.
Right. Huge.
I think, a lot of people would like to see them playing it.
Prime time.
Yeah. I just want to look at the Big 12 standings real quick.
I got it right here. BYU 1, Iowa State 2, Colorado 3, Kansas State 4. A lot of those, obviously, Colorado and Iowa State are tied. So.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
I have the best thing I saw.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine.
I think we didn't do it last week, so I forgot about it. But yeah, let's end on the best thing that Chloe saw on social media.
And I can't. And this one's so cute. So anyway, I'll show you guys.
All right, last one right here. Then we're gonna break it down. My wife, Emily. I know you're in the back. Come on up here, Em. All right. She's got a birthday coming up this week. All right. So it's a great birthday for her. Great birthday present. I told my kids all week that if we won this football game, all right, I was going to do a little celebration for her here in the locker room. Right. I'm going to need y'all's help, and we ain't singing happy birthday. Don't think it's that, all right? I know y'all sing this song at practice, so I'm going to need a little backup right here. Right. But this is her little birthday. Hit it, Big Mike.
Isn't that the cutest? I know. It's the cutest thing ever. And she's just sitting there like, oh my God, like all these toys right now. And it's like,
that's so sweet.
You're always on my mind. He's like pointing to the thing.
I thought he was, exactly. I thought he was going to do something like cliche, happy birthday to you. He drops that.
Like, you guys sing this song every day, and I've been learning the lyrics.
I thought that was great. I'm glad you put that on there. That's funny. That was the greatest thing I saw this week, and didn't think about it again, actually.
I love that. Like, I love when college football coaches really incorporate their wives and really make it a family thing in the program. So I really, really like that. I'm giving it we're doing out of 5 or 10, I forget.
10.
Out of 10?
What
I'm giving that our ratings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I forgot we rated them.
I'm going to give that a 10. That was really good.
Out of 10?
That was sweet.
At the 10 for me, too. That was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Good job this
Knocked
week.
It down. I was debating between Saquon Barkley's reverse hurdle over the guy.
Oh, my God.
Which was absolutely incredible. But then I'm like, this is a little tearjerker, and I got to touch their heartstrings a little bit more. Yeah. So
how crazy was that Saquon Barkley thing, though? I feel like people aren't, like, that should be, like, the greatest play of all time.
Was that the greatest play of all time?
I've never even seen somebody he gets knocked going backwards, spin move, and then reverse hurdles over the guy. He's got to be like, think about what type of freak athlete Saquon Barkley is.
Yeah, he's incredible. And I played against him this week in my fantasy league. So.
Oh my God, I thought you meant you like played against him sometime.
Oh, yeah, back in the backyard. So yeah, it's good,
but she's also last in her fantasy league. But
did you lose again this week?
I'm tied for
she
last.
lost with 100 and
well, I'm gonna have 10 points from Bucker tonight, so 130 points.
She lost.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough league you're in.
Shout out to Megan
Haggerty. Megan Haggerty is dominating the league. She is. She really is.
You got to get on the waiver wire.
I know. Please, we can't talk about fantasy.
All right. That is it for the dinner table. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.